to live. You guys are just stupid talking about women point of view. So a man does not deserve to live now. So he's a man that deserves to die. Evil people.
Women still go through a lot when it comes to these dynamics with a man and woman. You know, especially in marriages, unfortunately.
Women go through a lot.
You don't know. It's just
women go through a lot. There are a lot of men that have been intimidated, molested by their wives. Just because they are men. They believe they will not be heard. They believe that nobody will believe them. They will keep quiet. The same way Mohbad was molested, intimidated throughout the time he stayed with Wunmi. And nobody raised an eyebrow. Just because it was not the other way around. And the same sentiment is what you are portraying on your platform. Women can kill and go away with it. A man cannot do it. The whole world will descend on him. You guys are just being stupid and callous. You are very, very callous in nature.
Just because justice for Mohbad is public, a lot of women have been wrongly accused or rightly, I don't know whether it's right because I've never been there, but don't let me say wrongly, a lot of women are generally accused of killing their husband when their husband dies. Just because, you know, they should know better, they should have done more, they should have, you know, because we're women, we're superwomen, we should do everything. This
lady is just very stupid. Should have done more, they should have done more, they should have done more. This is not applicable to the case of Wunmi and Mohbad. Thank you.
If you try to understand, you will just go down a rabbit hole. Don't try to understand it. But let me say something. A lot of the culture we have, the origin itself, if you go and look at it, is very good. But along the line, it got bastardized. Along the line, it did not move with time. The reality is, back in the days, women didn't have rights. And it's still like that in many places. Now, women...
You mean more women have stepped up to kill their husband, like the way women killed Mohbad? Is that what you mean by women have stepped up? They have stepped up killing their husbands? The way women killed Mohbad? Is that what you mean by women stepping up?
And you're just going to get yourself worked up. The other thing I'm going to say is, I really am feeling a bit sad that we're going back to how Mohbad was buried. Because, like I said, when
You guys are just being stupid. You are placing on extra priority. You are not discussing how he was killed. And you are talking about how he was buried. If Mohbad was not killed, will he be buried? Do you think a killer will be more concerned about how he was buried? If that killer had any form of sympathy, she wouldn't have killed Mohbad. She wouldn't have ganged up with some people to kill Mohbad in the first instance. So you should be talking more about how Mohbad was killed. Before you be thinking about how he was buried. If he was not killed, he would not be buried. You can use your brain now.
That he was buried. I was like, is the guy a Muslim? Because Muslims, they will just quickly throw you. Muslims don't even use coffin. They will just wrap you in white material and throw you. Not throw you, but sorry. They will find a place to bury you and they will wrap you in white blanket. Because to them, coffin, all of that, all the ceremony is not even. They shouldn't even be doing that. They don't believe in all that. They just believe in burying the person immediately and finding a plot of land. But when I found out that he wasn't a Muslim, that was when I started to get interested. What was this guy buried? Yes, okay, yes, it's Okofu because he's young. So that too, when you're young, people generally you get buried quickly because it's not as if they want to throw a party.
You are very, very stupid. You guys are very, very stupid. You kept on talking about how he was already buried. And you are not discussing the processes that led to that hasty burial. You guys are very, very stupid. You are just being wicked. You are non-entities. You are very stupid. You did not bother to ask why. What are the processes? You did not bother to ask that. You are just talking about quickly bury. You are very stupid. You are leaving the killer alone. And you are discussing about why he was buried, when the killer head down to the doctor's report. Why the killer took the body home instead of the mortuary. Why the killer was communicating with Baba Liam, the only captain of Ikate, not to allow the police officers to give doctor's reports. Where did you expect the body to be? In your wardrobe? Where did you expect the body to be kept? The body that was already smelling. Where did you expect the body to be kept? You guys are evil and useless.
At least, they should have got a decent coffin that will fit his size. They don't know his length. I think that's why I was trying to stop you when you were talking, Sister Lo. That how the guy was buried is traumatic. Forget about who did what, who did. The fact that they bent his neck, they had to. It's like in the whole of Nigeria, they could not find a befitting coffin of nice. How much is coffin God forbid? Even if they don't have money, they could have borrowed because he's a human being. Is this? Don't try to go back to that place because it's something that most people don't want to think. I don't want to think about it. It shouldn't have been done. It shouldn't have been done. Period. But sitting down here and say, we blame this person, it will not bring back the dead. And Jack, my only consolation.
See, I'm not blaming Wunmi for the bent neck. Whoever buried him should be responsible for that.
Yeah, but the father. Don't do blaming anyone. Jack, my only consolation to answer your question, Kpai, I'll give you a minute. My only consolation in answering your question is that Mohbad is in a better place. How he was buried or not, I'm sure, I don't know, I've never been to heaven before, or I've never been to the other side. He's forgotten all of us. We are the one that is now facing all this trauma in life. I believe he's in a better place. And I believe if he's going to even be disappointed, he probably will be disappointed how his own family is in disarray and how his own family is now a topic for social media rather than how he was buried.
But no, don't be disturbed. Don't disturb yourself. Mohbad will not be disappointed because his family is in disarray. Done. The DNA will be done and it will not be contestable. And two, Wunmi Adebanjo will be in criminal court answering questions about how Mohbad died. Those are the two conditions. I know some of you are crying around, you are shouting, you are crying. Don't be crying. You cannot do anything more than crying around the way you have been doing. The emperor does not hear you, and thank God you are not among the voices that he listens to. Do you understand? And on this side, we have told you repeatedly, Mohbad will not be buried until those two conditions are met. So if you want to go and hug transformer, go and hug the transformer in rainy season. If you want to jump into lagoon, go and jump into the lagoon. Mohbad will not be buried until those two conditions are met. Okay? So you can say whatever you like. You guys are wasting your saliva.
Now, in some these two, they will say that his spirit is still moving around. I don't believe that too because I don't know. But
thank you, thank you.
Like, hello, I'm like, this is the one. Because that's the first trauma is okay. They had to bury him ramshackle way. Why? Is it because he didn't have money? No matter what, he would still have something that is to get it.
Don't get it wrong. Mohbad had money. Mohbad was not buried only because he didn't have money. So don't get it wrong. In fact, the last show Mohbad went for, it was Wunmi that collected the money into her account. So he wasn't buried because they had financial problem. He was buried because he needed to be buried. Further delay in his burial, we exposed Wunmi Adebanjo and other co-conspirators in killing Mohbad. So it was all planned to be buried in that way by denying his father every avenue to preserve the body of Mohbad. So it was a well-calculated plan. So don't say he was buried because he didn't have money.
Burial. But that didn't happen. Okay, let's forgive the family. Let's not blame. But now, they've done, what did they say they want to do? Autopsy like 7 or 1 year, a year ago.
You will be in the morgue. You will just cry and kill yourself in the process. Go and tell them, Mohbad will not be buried now. He will not be buried. So whatever you like, go and do. Mohbad will not be buried.
That one is the one that almost gives me sleepless like hey, they say bury, okay, fine, you didn't bury him right the first time. Like, can we just give him a decent burial now? What else is left? Cut the thing.
Don't worry about it, but don't worry about decent burial. Getting the killer is more important than decent burial. So we are not interested in befitting burial. Leave befitting burial alone. What we are trying to get now is befitting catching. You want to catch the killer. we are more interested in befitting catching of the killer than befitting burial. So we are not interested in though.
In Avengers. I like to comment on when you're analyzing like this, so I can just chip in so we can have like a duet.
I'm telling you. Befitting burial call. Befitting kinini.
I don't just know why.
That 1 minute. You give somebody a befitting killing. You killed him befittingly. Now you are not crying for befitting burial. No, leave the befitting burial alone. Let us give the killer a befitting catching. Let us catch the killer.
A befitting God trial.
I'm telling you, I'm befitting trial. And befitting prosecution. Befitting sentencing. That's what we are after. Not befitting burial. That will come last. That is the last option. It's not even on the table. So you people should stop crying.
And a befitting DNA test. You see,
I'm telling you, befitting DNA test. Thank you for adding that one, sir. Befitting.
a befitting tissue-based DNA test. The problem that we are having, you see, if you look, the issue of G4M is just like it reflects the wider issue that we have in our society. When our people focus more on the smoke without understanding where the fire came from. You know, there is no smoke without fire. It is the fire that causes the smoke. So they will focus more on the smoke. They will ignore the fire. They will focus more on the flies. They will ignore the refuse. Without the refuse, there is no flies. Without smoke, there is no fire. Without fire, there is no smoke. So so what they're trying to do now is this. I know we all know where they are going as battle-hardened J4M protagonists, real protagonists, not those ones who are just there for the fanfare, for the sensation, and for the fracas, and for the content. And as battle-hardened as we are, we all know where they are going to. We all know that they are trying to shift the focus away from the circumstances around Mohbad's mysterious death. And they're trying to shift it towards his burial and how he was gruesomely buried in such a way. And they're also trying to shift the blame away. Like they've mentioned it. They said, "Oh, they're not going to blame Wunmi. They're not going to blame Wunmi." Okay, fine. So now what they're trying to go forward is they're trying to say, why isn't the father there to ensure that the proper coffin is purchased? Why isn't the father there to ensure that, or to check at the burial site, to open the coffin and check if Mohbad's head was kept rightly and his clothes was well worn, and they wore him Gucci shoes, and they wore him Jimmy shoes, and he had the Louis Vuitton bag and some nice cap while going to the grave. So the point is, they are trying to shift the focus away from Mohbad's black partner, a strange partner, and shift it towards Mohbad's family, not even Wunmi's family, Mohbad's family, and tie the responsibility around his gruesome burial around the neck of the father. So we all know what they are doing, and we all know what we are doing. The question goes thus: what about the illegal embalments? What about the fact that there was a fight between Mohbad and his partner? Why was the account of the driver at the inquest, why did it point to the fact that he has heard that Mohbad has died before the nurse came around 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday?
They will prove it now. Don't worry.
Why?
Wunmi is doomed.
Why?
If
Mohbad, when they took Mohbad to the hospital, and the first hospital recommended that Mohbad body be put in the morgue, why didn't they take the body to the morgue? Why did they take the body to the second hospital, and from second hospital they took it back to the house?
Not to the morgue.
Not to the morgue.
They will tell us the reason now.
If the body was kept at the morgue, Baba Mohbad wouldn't have been under duress, or wouldn't have been in that dilemma that it was when the police denied him the necessary reports or documents that he need to keep the body at the morgue. Also, in contravention of the Lagos State Corona law, Mohbad's body was refused by the morgue. According to the Lagos State Corona law, the morgue should at least receive the body and then tell the family to go get the police reports while the body stays at the morgue. But the body was refused at the morgue. And because of this dilemma, the police report was denied. The body was refused at the morgue. So what did they expect the man to do? To put his body in his fridge and what? That's even if he has a fridge in his house.
No, to fry it and start eating it.
Yes. And when somebody, released some money to Baba Mohbad, he said, okay, well, he did not take the money in his hands. He said, okay, give it to the manager. And the manager should ensure that the burial process is taken care of. Was it Baba Mohbad's fault that the right coffin was not purchased for Mohbad? Or was it that Mohbad's dad fault that his neck was broken in the Mohbad's neck was broken in the coffin? So they are taking the focus away from the main issue, because Mohbad cannot be buried alive. If Mohbad was alive, he won't find himself in the coffin. The question is, how did Mohbad wind up dead at the first place?
No, that is the crocodile. Do you even remember that they even claimed that Mohbad was buried alive at first?
That's what they did. That's what they said.
These people are very wicked.
They said Mohbad
was shouting. He was buried alive.
They said his father hastily went to bury him.
And Mohbad was saying, I told him not to bury him now because you could wake up after 3 days, like Lazarus, like Jesus Christ. God.
Out of the fullness of the, you see the mind, the human mind will never deceive the owner of the mind. Out of the fullness of the mind, the mouth speaks. From what they are saying, you will already know what their position is from the onset until now. No matter what Mr. Joseph Oluwabamiwo Aloba says or does, these people will never see any sense. They will never see any sincerity, integrity. They will never see any transparency or determination in whatever he's doing. It is impossible. It's just like you are trying to mix oil and water together. They will never see the sense in what he's doing. It's not possible. Because in light of the circumstances that led to Mohbad's death, in light of the circumstances that happened after his death, how the man was called in his house. Because he met his son Mohbad on Saturday, hale and hearty. He did not complain of any underlying health diseases or sickness. And then 2 days later...
Because there was none. He was not having any problem at all.
Yeah. And then 2 days later, they called him, they said Mohbad was sick, when he was in the Malian, when Mohbad was in Malian record. Each time Mohbad get beaten or have an issue with them, physical violence or fight, they called his father and said, okay, they called him again. Maybe this is just one of those instances when my son is being beaten or something. He was surprised. On his way there, his daughter called him and said, Dad, this is what has actually happened though. But he said, anyways, I'm still going to go and see what is going on. 2-3 days before, he met his son hale and hearty. 3 days after, he was not even told by those who called him that this is what has happened. They called him to tell him that your son is sick, and they told him to go back home, that he's fine. He said no. He got there and he found a dead person under the staircase. Embalmed. It's impossible for them to embalm Mohbad and still allow or create the circumstances in which the embalmed body is kept in the morgue. They have to make that Baba Mohbad's coming in has to be like they have to block all the ways through which the man can lengthen the burial by putting the body in the morgue.
Yes.
So all the document needed to keep the body at the morgue, starting from the police reports, starting from the hospital obeying the corona law of putting the body at the morgue. They have to block all those places. So it's just going to be a done deal.
That is it. A closed circuit.
A closed circuit. It's a short fuse. Just come and bury him. We don't want to bury him. We don't want it to be on record that we are the ones that buried him. We want him to come. His involvement in the picture is that all the avenues to prolong the burial is going to be blocked. He is just going to have no. You put him in a dilemma, in a situation whereby he's in dilemma, and all he has to do is just go bury him. So it was well orchestrated. Yes, he has no choice, nothing to do.
There was nothing for him to do.
There was nothing
everywhere
for him to do, nothing. Because if Baba Mohbad says something like, you know what, let's keep the body under the morgue and let's wait till the next day so we can go to all the police stations, maybe like everywhere, they will still find a way to hard press that man.
Of course, they know where he will go now.
Yes.
They will be there before him.
They will be there before him, and so they know they will block all those avenues where that man can prolong, because they know that if that burial is prolonged for a day, information is going to filter into Baba Mohbad's ears. And because the information will filter into his ears, Baba Mohbad is going to insist that the burial does not even take place at the first place. But it was at night.
That's why they coerce him. They coerce him.
Imagine Baba Mohbad carrying Mohbad's corpse to Ekiti State just because he wants to do spiritual stuff on that body. What could have happened on the road, on the way? What kind of information would they have peddled online?
He will not get there.
Because what they will say is that he was alive when she took him. He was alive when he took him, and what happened to him? He died on the way. Instead of him to take the boy to the hospital.
And all of them would have spoken in unity.
They will speak in unity, and at the end of the day, Mohbad will end up in jail. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that the long-term plan that they had was to put Baba Mohbad in a situation whereby he does not have the capacity to fight or to continue to fight for justice for his son. Either to put him in the same, or to send him to the same destination they sent Mohbad, or to send him to jail, because what imprisonment? Because what? I'm sorry if I'm taking your time, sir. So what?
No. Carry on.
Because what imprisonment does is that imprisonment kills the human zeal or the human soul. If you have any plans, any lofty ambitions, if you are kept in prison, where you can't, read any book, you can't act in freedom, you can't do whatever you want to do in freedom, whatever zeal, whatever plan you have in mind, everything will fizzle out with time.
Of course, now.
Because we're in confinement. Yes. Because we're in confinement, and you are seeing, you are seeing fellow prisoners who have been there for years. They are telling you their stories. You have, it's a hopeless situation. You just, the first thing is you want to get out of jail. That's what will be on your mind. So they want to keep him in that situation where he has no capacity to fight, and he's going to put, he's going to say, well, I've given everything to God. Just like a lot of those funny rabble rousers are advising Baba Mohbad to do.
Leave it to God. Leave
the fight for God. Leave the fight for God. Let God fight the fight. Well, if God should fight the fight, why do we have a constitution? Why do we have a nation? Nigeria is an artificial creation. It was created by man, and as such, the laws that is in the country, guide the activities of the Nigerians, of its citizens. So why would we leave things into the hands of God when, in this circumstance, we have a law that instructs us on how to what to do and how to go about cases like this? When we have a constitution, and they will say give things to God. Let's leave it to God. God will judge it. No, it doesn't work that way. So all those people that are talking, they know what they are doing. It's either they are suffering from analysis paralysis, or they are speaking from their own, I would say, myopic mindsets, because they fail to appraise the circumstances that why are we here in the first place? Why do we have the smoke? Where is the fire coming from? Let's address the fire, and then later the smoke will fizzle out. So we know where they are going, and the problem is the listeners, because these guys, when they discuss in such a way that the listeners, some people listen to them, they base more on the emotional aspect of things than the logic, than the sense in it. I'm not saying 100% logic. I'm saying it is 100% emotion. They will sensationalize the whole, look at how his neck was buried. It was a celebrity for crying out loud. Why can't they even get him a casket? You can see, how can he start like that? And his wife was, he has a son. All those things is just emotionalizing chaff, pieces of chaff. How did Mohbad died? If Mohbad had died, if Mohbad was alive and banging, would it be in that situation at the first place? Okay, since he died, why didn't the police release a police report? Why didn't the hospital obey the Lagos State Corona law and put the boy in the morgue? Why asking the parents to find the police report? You see, was Baba Mohbad there when the coffin was purchased? Was he also there when Mohbad was placed in the coffin? Was he there when the boy was buried? You see, so these are the things that they are not touching on, but they won't touch on it because they have to be selective in the way they analyze and discuss their issues. Why? Because they need to paint all the forms of emotional stuff around so they can justify. Because we know where they are going, because they are making statements like they don't want to blame Wunmi, they don't want to blame Wunmi, they don't want to be nowhere they are going. I even heard that. I even heard one person even say women are going through shit. They're also trying to bring feminism, into the issue. Was it okay? What happened? Okay, Baba Mohbad was an adult at risk of harm. What if, as Wunmi's stepsister made that statement that he called Baba Mohbad and she begged him for 8 hours, please don't bury Mohbad. And the man went to bury. She indicated that Baba Mohbad was glad that Mohbad passed. And he couldn't even wait for Mohbad to take his last breath before he took the boy and threw him into the hole and covered him up and buried him. What if some diehard, zealous Mohbad fans hears about that and then maybe sees Mohbad's dad somewhere and they just shoot him, or they just stone him, or they just hurt him, or they stab him somewhere? Because during that time, before the man came out to make a disclaimer, debunk most of those lies on BBC, his videos were, if Mohbad is going to work, his videos will be online. If he's traveling from one state to another, his videos will be online. What if someone just accost him and just stab him, or just beat him up, or hurt him, or injure him because of those wrong narrative that was spread there? And still, those wrong narrative are still in the minds of a lot of Instagrammers. If you go on Instagram, so many people, most of those wrong narrative have gone so far in their minds, and it has made a lot of people lose interest in the first place. If not for some of them creeping on TikTok, creeping to TikTok and seeing some fact and some truth. What about his character that was assassinated? What about, is he not a human being? So they're trying to bring all forms of isms and feminisms and bullying and minor bullying and all. If you live in glass house, don't trust it. If you live in glass house, do not throw stones. If you have a fragile but son like Liam, okay, then you should not attack a grandfather like Mr. Joseph Aloba and lie against him, because God will definitely raise an army of men, or God will definitely raise stones. Let's just say stones from the ground. God will pick stones from the ground and raise them in defense of Joseph Aloba. Because God will not open his eyes and allow some miscreants to defame that man up to the point of putting him out or selling him out to anybody. It's just like you're telling me, anybody that sees this man, I bet don't do one for him. If you see him, just stab him, knock and salty. Buy him if you see him. That was how the man was the long narrative was peddled against that man online. So when those stones that God has raised now are now stoning your glass house, which is Liam, how about that? Because at the first place, you should have considered that you have something to defend before you attack someone else. And all those gaslighting on minor, we are bullying a minor, we are all minors, right? I'm also a minor, okay? So it's not about a minor in this case, because Mohbad was a minor too. If you considered Mohbad as a human being, he would not be treated in that fashion. And if you considered Mohbad's father as a human being, you would not attack him or assassinate his character before you gather, or without gathering all the truth. You did not wait to gather the truth. You allow your mind to be misled by these manipulators, and they facilitated. They twisted your mind, and then you dwell on that for a very long time. And just because some people came online because they couldn't control Baba Mohbad, they couldn't get him to do their bidding. they couldn't force him to sign certain contracts. So they peddled a lot of rumors and negativities around him. And then you gobbled it up. You gobbled all the wrong narrative that was peddled against that man. And then because of that, you open a platform out of that negativity in your mind, and you begin to preach the gospel of negativity, and you begin to justify the actions of the people who pied Mohbad and paint them in good light. They will say, look at what they will say. They will say, I'm neutral. I don't have anything against Liam. I don't have anything against
Mohbad. Nobody is neutral in jail for him. Is it that you are for Baba Mohbad and Mohbad, or you are for Wunmi, the killer of Mohbad?
It's as simple as that. They will say they are neutral. They will say they are neutral. I can't inherit someone's enemy. I can't be involved in the bully of a widow. I can't bully a minor. I'm a woman too. I can't. No. All those things are mere excuses to justify their support, for the wrong, to justify their wrong position. But when you tender Baba Mohbad and you explain to them, they will come against. They will say no. Look at what happened recently when 2 voice notes came out, and one voice note was directly dangerous to J4M, because a proponent, somebody who claims to be a proponent of J4M, who is a supporter of Baba Mohbad, was on a platform that is known to be anti Joseph Aloba, and was saying something that the voice notes is going to that indicated that it's going to deal with those behind the release of the voice notes that transpired between the VN between Mohbad and his partner, and that he's expressing regret. And he said there's a secret that these people they want to do Wunmi bad, and they want to do us bad things, and the secret is going to be exposed. And these are what secret? They are not addressing that heavy and highly incriminating voice notes. They are talking about Grexy beating Baba, flogging, bullying Baba, despite the fact that Baba has came out to debunk that lie, and despite the fact that Grexy has came out to debunk it. Recently, Baba came on, I think, on a live. He hopped on a live, and he was requesting for bring Grexy up. Each is always helping along, saying about Baba. Some of them who are saying this thing, they were like, they suddenly, those who were supporting, those noise makers and rabble rousers and spoilers, they suddenly began to care for Baba, and they began to support Baba. Baba is being bullied. Baba, some of them even came to cry that Baba is being bullied by Grexy. They are crying, and all those fake tears. They thought it's going to shake us. But we all knew that all this time, we all knew that it was just farcical gyration anyway going left, they will say no, right. If Baba says I'm going right, they will say no, left. If Baba says him and Grexy are good, they will say no, they are not good. They will peddle, they will broadcast the voice note, analyze it, use it to distract. If Baba says, okay, Grexy be going, they will say, Baba shouldn't have left Grexy. Grexy that did this for Baba. Grexy that did that for Baba. Grexy even had accidents for Baba. He suffered, he almost died for the man. And look at how the man look at how the man treated him. And they will go on Grexy's TikTok, and they will try to buy Grexy over to their side. Just like, so Grexy will now be on their platforms saying, I suffered, it was me. Grexy will now join them, and Grexy they will give him maybe a crown, and they will give him maybe some award, and to appreciate his services for J4M. So they will be the ones supporting him against the man. Meanwhile, they are the ones telling the man now to let Grexy to go. After the man said there is no issue between him and Grexy. You see, so we know those who we are dealing with.
They are very manipulative.
Yes. So we know those who we are dealing with in this fight, and the problem is just their audience, because the minds of their audience, sometimes I just feel pity. Their audience, those who listen, who just watch. We have people who listen to them and gobble up whatever they say. It is those ones I pity, And like I said, I just want to bring this quote, I think, by one guy that says, the illiterate of the future of the 21st century is not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn. Wrong narrative about Baba was peddled online. Virtually every one of us came out and we like, what Baba did was not good. What Baba did was not good. But when we learned, when we heard about what Baba Aloba said, we began to unlearn all those wrong things that, or wrong narrative that was peddled against him, and we began to relearn the truth. So let me put a pause. Maybe some other people have something to say. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to put this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gladiator Crocodile. God bless you. One important thing is there are only two pathways in justice for Mohbad. The pathway of the killer or killers and the pathway of justice fighter. And at the end of the affair of that justice fighter is Emperor Joseph Aloba, while other contrasting pathways are that of the killer and killers of Mohbad. So there's nothing like neutrality. Nobody is neutral. There's no fence. They have demolished the fence, so nobody is sitting on any fence. So don't be saying that I'm just sitting on the fence or I'm neutral. There's no neutrality. It's either you are acidic or you are basic.
Yes, there is no fence. There is no engagement. Is there? There is no more engagement because all those argue. Let me engage you. All those days of engagement is long gone.
I'm telling you.
The days of plain neutrality. If we play neutrality, we know where you are sitting because we know there is no fence. So if we play neutrality, we know where you are on. We know you are on the other side. You're just pretending. So you can be playing double. You can be shifting grants as you want. No, we know. And if you have opened your mouth and insulted Baba Loba before, and you say, I insult Baba Loba. At that time, I don't know the truth. Now I know the truth. You are just playing. We don't recognize you anymore. If like, so they will say they will insult the man. They will insult him every corner. They will insult him everywhere. Despite knowing the truth, and they will now come as maybe something happens. They will say, maybe they're having a fight, a beef with one of themselves, and they begin to now side Baba Loba because they need some support from Baba Loba's side, and they'll be like, I've seen the truth. I was lied to. I don't know that time. I don't know. We too. We will say, sorry. Oh, okay, but we know. We'll pretend. We'll pretend like, yeah, okay, you don't know. Okay, it's fine. But we know. You can't shift grants. You can't join the train. The train has gone. So we too, as you are deceiving yourself, you try to. We too, we also deceive you. Yeah, because we want to deceive you because we want you to spill the content of your. We want you to see what this content of your mouth. We want you to spill it because if you are having a problem with your fellow, noisemaker whom both of you have jointly insulted Baba, we will come to your side to pretend like we are with you so that you will spill out the dealings between that you guys have had between yourself. So when you spill it out, then we'll just be say, okay, then we use it, we hold it in our heads. So because we know we are going to shift. Once everything goes, you will all rally behind each other every time, everyone once in a while. So yeah, so that's how it works. So let them keep playing, let them keep deceiving themselves. They have an issue, they will talk nice about Baba, so they can get some fans and some views. Because something I noticed about them is that they can't stay alone. They are scared. They either want to belong to themselves or belong to some. They want to have a sense of belonging. When they fight against themselves, they want to say, okay, I'm fighting with my team. I don't want to be alone. Okay, let me speak in support of Baba so that Baba supporters will come and they'll come and warm me. Or they warm that if I'm feeling cold, Baba supporters will come and they'll fill my platform. They'll cover me up with some blanket. They'll make me feel warm. We will come and make you feel warm because we wanted to see we wanted to spill the content of your mouth. What you guys have together. Once we get what we want to get from you, we'll take the blanket from you, get cold again because we know you're going to go back. To yourselves. Brotherhood of, according to what Mr. Isaac said, Big Shaq said, brotherhood of darkness. We already know the stock from which they are made. So, it goes that way. Thank
you. Thank you very much once again, Gladiator Crocodile. Gladiator Riccardi, are you there, please?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Michael.
Good afternoon, Gogoleo. President our generals. Emperor Tema ń pè àṣọ máa ń dùn wọ́n. Ẹ jẹ́ má bá mi repeat yẹ.
Ẹ̀pẹ̀ Joseph Aloba.
Àjọ máa ń jó wọn.
Wọ́n máa ń ké gidi, wọ́n máa ń ké gidi.
Mi ò máa rírú ẹ̀ rí o. Mo kọjá síbi ìkọ́ni ebi tí mo ti wá wo fámílì kì mi tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ J4M. Ló bá ní àwọn tiẹ̀ oyún máa ń bí ohun tóun ṣe máa ń gbọ́ tí Vengeance yẹn máa ń pèlè ẹ̀ ń bọ́rọ̀.
Wọ́n máa ké kú ni.
Ẹ bá bá mi repeat ẹ̀ sà. Àwọn olórí burúkú ìka. Ikú Mohbad ló clear jù. Ṣé ọkùnrin yẹn èèyàn kan ló bí wọn ni tí kan ní òtọ́lá ẹjọ́ obìnrin? Because you are a woman, they should be killing your husband. Tẹ́bẹ́ pa gbogbo àwọn ọkùnrin yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ ìtara wọn ọmọ yín máa fẹ́. Ikú yẹn ló bèrè lọ́wọ́ Wunmi pé kí ló kọ ọkọ ìwọ tó ní ikú tó yẹ kọ́ ọmọ ẹ gbà kú ọmọ oṣù márùn-ún. Òun lọ kọ ní boyfriend ẹ gbà kú. Explain to us. Ẹ lè explain. Ẹ tún support ẹ. Ṣé yẹn kọ́kọ́ ló bí wọn bàbá adìyẹ ni? Ó jábọ́ látọ̀run ni. I don't understand àwọn Yoruba people yìí. They are so wicked. Wọ́n ìka ní gbogbo wọn. All of them ìka ní gbogbo wọn. Ìka ò jẹ́ ṣe wọ́n lè gbà pé èkánná ẹsẹ̀ wọn yọ kọ̀kọ́ tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ń support aburú. Ẹ wá ní ká burú má ṣe yín. There is no two way about it. Gbogbo yín pátápátá tẹ̀ ń da bàbá oníbàbá láàmú lórí ikú ọmọ ẹ̀. Gbogbo yín ni irú ẹ̀ máa ṣe. Gbogbo yín pátápátá. Kí ló dé tẹ ìyà kan náà? Ẹ dẹ̀ fi ìkálẹ̀ ẹ wá mẹ́rin tó bí ọmọ tí ò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ gbà tọmọ kú ẹ wá ń gbógun tì í. Àdàbí tá pé bàbá yẹn wà ń bẹ̀. Can you imagine? Kí Wunmi máa sọ pé òun ṣe rí òun ra wíìgì $800. Ó gbé sórí ṣé Wunmi ṣiṣẹ́ rí ni? Lórí ògùn ojú ọmọlọ́mọ àní Wunmi ò dẹ̀ tún rẹ́rìn-ín. Wunmi ò rẹ́rìn-ín. Lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Wunmi ò ní lọ scot-free. Àfi tí ò bá sọ Ọlọ́run lókè mọ́ ni. Ẹ mọ̀ wá ní kọ́lọ́run ṣèdájọ́ bọ̀ tó bá bú pásítọ̀ yín ẹ̀ ní kọ́lọ́run ṣèdájọ́ ẹ̀ ní kọ́ gbé wọn pásítọ̀ gbé àwọn èèyàn lọ sí kóòtù. Gbogbo sentiment kọ́lọ́run ṣèdájọ́ yẹn kò wọ́ọ̀kì mọ́ ojú ti là gbogbo wa bèbí ti ṣẹ́jú. No Ọlọ́run kọ́lọ́ máa ṣèdájọ́ there's no ignorance. In court of law nílùú òyìnbó they will deal with you. Gbogbo yín tí wọ́n kọ́ nílẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n ń kọ́ yín nínú wọn kọ́ yín nílùú òyìnbó. Ọmọ underage lásán bóyá pé ọmọ 16 ó pàdé ẹ̀ lójú títí ó gba phone number ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣẹṣẹ́ COS tẹ́ wá láti Nàìjíríà tó gba phone number tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ pé ó fẹ́ bí friend yẹ. Táwọn òbí ẹ̀ bá ká fóònù wọn lọ́wọ́ tó rí wọ́n máa lọ fẹjọ́ lọ sọ ọlọ́pàá máa wá mú ilé tá ẹ bá ti wá ọmọ yín wọ́n ti wà ní prison lẹ́yìn yẹn wọ́n máa gbá yín dá padà sílé ni. Ṣé ní ìwà wèrè ìwà ìlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yẹn ti mọ yín lára kẹ́ ṣe kàtọ́ yín ní pátápátá ẹ̀ wọ́n á gbàgbé ẹ̀ fóṣù mẹ́ta. Wunmi ṣe nípa àgbàgbé lè fóṣù mẹ́ta. We dey here. Ìwọ ìka. Very wicked. Àtẹni gbogbo ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ àǹdí ẹ. Báwo lẹ ṣe ń sùn lẹ ṣe ń jiná? Ọmọ ọlọ́mọ wà nínú kọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé fẹ́ mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ tó ń gbé ni ẹ̀dẹ́ fọmọ ọlọ́mọ sílẹ̀. Kí ló pọ̀ ọmọ ọlọ́mọ fún? Ẹ ti ṣe ti pẹ́nu fámìlì yín ilé ìlú máa fi ṣèṣe mọ́. Ẹ̀yin ìka gbogbo yìí. Kí ló dé wá rẹ́rìn-ín? Tí má tiẹ̀ ti rántí scenario bí tó sọ pé kí bàbá kó gbé ọmọ ẹ̀ kó lọ ro. Àyà máa kó ẹ̀wù mi o. Ó máa ṣe o. Ṣé tó bá jẹ́ ọmọ Dangote ó lè pákó ní kí bàbá ẹ̀ wá gbé? Ó ní débẹ̀ náà. Ẹ ní débẹ̀. Ṣé ẹni tí ó bá ti lówó lọ́wọ́ kò ráyé wá ní Nàìjíríà? Ní kí ló dé tẹ ìyà kàná? Ṣé bó lọ́wọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan ló kú lánìjọ́ mẹ́ta ìnílẹ̀ ẹni bó ṣe lọ́wọ́ tọ́ ní Ìbàdàn ṣé kò kú ni? Lámídé Àjàdí Onítàyà ó kọ́ létí títí sí gbogbo district gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ń bẹ̀ ṣé kò kú ni? Gbogbo nǹkan tó máa tán kílẹ̀ ń pa ọmọlàkejì yín fún. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́mọ yẹ́ dàgbà ẹ̀dá lóró ẹ tún ní kí bàbá ẹ̀ fọ́fọ́ kó níṣó. No way Wunmi ó ní lọ scot-free. Ọlọ́run bọ́lọ́run ti ń jẹ ẹyọ kan yìí sẹ́ Wunmi ó ní lọ scot-free. Sọ́bàdẹ̀ ti fa gbùrú ẹ̀ wọ́n fa gbó àti ọba tó rún ẹ̀ pé kò lọ́pọ̀ ọmọ lọ́mọ yẹn. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ máa dóra yẹn kò sẹ́ni tó stop yín pé kẹ́ má dóra yín kò sẹ́ni tó stop yín kẹ́ má bímọ fúnra yín. Kí ló pọ̀ ọmọ lọ́mọ fún? Kí lè dẹ́mi ẹ̀ lé gbòdò fún? Kí ló dé tẹ̀ jẹ́ kó rògbò ẹ̀ lò? Kí bàbá ẹ̀ dẹ́ enjoy ọmọ lọ́mọ? Ògo gbogbo Nàìjíríà ni Mohbad. Ogo gbogbo Nàìjíríà ni. Tako mo yẹn wà láyé ó máa ga jù gbogbo àwọn Wizkid yẹn lọ gbogbo wọn. Gbogbo yín tẹ́ ndọ́wọ́ ní ku ọmọ yẹn gbogbo yín báyìí. Ẹ̀mí máa lọ sí ni. Wunmi ìwọ ló ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn nínú ilé yẹn. Wunmi ló pa Mohbad, Wunmi kú òjijì ló máa pa ẹ́. Ó kò dẹ̀ tó kú yẹn ó máa gbé lọ sí kóòtù báyìí. Ó máa kó ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ sí ẹ lọ́wọ́ Wunmi. Pé ó máa lọ scot-free yẹn. Wunmi ò lè lọ scot-free. Gbogbo àwọn obìnrin tó ń sọ pé tó ń ṣe because it's a woman, because it's a woman ló ní audacity láti pa boyfriend yẹn. Tó bá jẹ́ àbúrò yín ọkùnrin ńkọ́, tó bá jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n yín ọkùnrin ńkọ́, àbí tó bá jẹ́ bàbá yín ní kíyà yín pa kíyà yín máa lọ scot-free. Kí ló dé tẹ́ ìyàkà náà? Kí ló dé tẹ́ ìnẹ́mi Ọlọ́run? Gbogbo nǹkan ló máa tán nílé ayé yìí. Kí ló dé? Kí ló dé tẹ́ ìyàkà nítorí pé ìfẹ́ lo lavish life ara yín? Ẹ ti máa ń ṣe tipẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà yẹn. Ilé ilẹ̀ máa fi ṣàṣemọ́. Ilé ilẹ̀ máa fi ṣòpin. Àdàbí. Ọmọ yẹn ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ bàbá. Jẹ́ kí bàbá ẹ̀ jẹ́ rẹ̀. Abiyamọ wo ló lè gbọ́ pé ọmọ òun ṣiṣẹ́ àkáǹtì ìyá ìyàwó náà ń kọ́wọ́ sí? Ẹni tó máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ lábẹ́ ẹ̀ ní àkáǹtì ìyá ìyàwó ṣọ́mọ yóò lákáǹtì. Àkáǹtì ìyá ìyàwó ló máa ń kọ́wọ́ sí. Èwo ló lè gbọ́ nínú yín tínú ẹ̀ máa dùn? Wọ́n tún fi yín lẹ̀ àfùgbà tẹ́ ẹ ṣáà tún pa ọmọ yìí. Pé ẹ má pa Mohbad yìí gbé, ẹ lè pa Mohbad yìí gbé. Irọ́ ni. Kí ló dé? Ẹ má lè máa pẹ́ra yín lábíamọ́. Ẹ̀yin kan ẹ wá. Ẹ má wá bí èèyàn gidi. Ẹ̀yin náà lẹ tí máa gbógun ti bàbá òní bàbá. Ẹ gbàdúrà kírú ẹ̀ ṣe yín náà. Kí ló dé tí kà ń gbẹ́nu yín? Kí ló dé tí gbogbo nu yín kún fún ejò àti àkekèé? Ogun ọ̀run tó wà ní wákàtí ọ̀wọ̀ yìí, orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáyé, ẹgbẹ́ agbára tí Ọlọ́run fi ń jí Ọlọ́run. Wunmi ò gbọ́dọ̀ lọ scot-free. Wunmi ò gbọ́dọ̀ lọ scot-free. O lè pọ ọmọ yẹn Wunmi kó o náà máa lọ scot-free. Pé wọ́n rẹ́rìn, o lè rẹ́rìn. O lè gbomi lójú gbogbo àgbáyé kí Wunmi kí wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ rẹ́rìn. Mohbad doesn't belong to his father alone. He belongs to all of us. Àwọn èèyàn tó dúró lótìtọ́ pé kí ló dé ọmọ yóò gbọ́dọ̀ kú báyìí. Ìwọ olórí burúkú dàgátà. O ti rìkọ́ọ̀dì bàbá yẹn from day one. Ṣé bí ọba arọ́sọ lánàá? Ó ní kí náà pé PS ó sọ fún un pé anti justice ní Lagata kóun ṣọ́ra fún. He said it yesterday. So you know yourself from day one. Lagata ò dẹ̀ wà ní UK ò wà okay. There is a lot of opportunity. Gbogbo nǹkan tó fi ń rìkọ́ọ̀dù bàbá yẹn, you can go to school. Wọ́n bẹ̀ sanwó school ẹ̀ wá tún fún ẹ ní wọ́n fún ẹ ní bí almost £5,000 every 3 months pé ò lọ sílé ìwé. You will sit down and comfort nínú ilé ààrẹ pẹ̀lú laptop àti mobile phone. Wàá máa ṣe project manager. Ṣé bó gbóyìnbó? Wàá máa gbóyìnbó sọ̀rọ̀ lórí phone. O ò ní kúrò nínú ilé ẹ̀. Gbogbo ọpọlọ yẹn o ò lè lọ fún yẹn. O ń lò láti rìkọ́ọ̀dù bàbá ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tí bàbá tí ò ń pa ọmọ ẹ̀ Lagata. Gbogbo IT tí wọ́n ní wọ́n háàkì yẹn o ò lè lọ fún nǹkan gidi. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn táwọn IT ń gbà nílùú òyìnbó lóṣù. Káàtì ẹ̀ nípò ti ní criminal record tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. O sì gba DBS ẹ jẹ́ Lagata. After 5 years ó máa clear. By the time tó lọ sí school. Ṣé 5 years yẹn ò ní pé ni? Wọ́n ní nítorí pé ti bá DBS ẹ jẹ́ kó wọ́n ní fún ẹ, wọ́n ní sanwó school rẹ̀ pé wọ́n tún ní máa wá sanwó school ẹ̀ wọ́n tún máa fún ẹ almost £5,000 every 3 months Lagata olórí burúkú olóṣì. Ó rí ọpọlọ yẹn lò Lagata. Gbogbo yín pátápátá báyìí ẹ ní lọ scot-free. Àdàbí wọ́n mú ọmọ tí wọ́n fẹ́ kó yè Lagata kò lè ìwọ pọ̀ ọmọ lọ́mọ kan ìwọ ń sọ̀pọ̀ orí kọ́ọ̀dù bàbá ẹ̀ wọ́n á ṣerú ẹ̀ fún ẹ Lagata Ìdòwú wọ́n á ṣerú ẹ̀ fún ẹ àfi tí ò bá sọ lọ́rùn lókè mọ́. Gbogbo yín gbà tẹ́ bá wá ń sunkún yín àwọn èèyàn onímọ̀ nǹkan tẹ́ ti ṣe ọmọ wa ní ọlọ́lọ́mọ àwọn ọmọ ẹni táwọn ṣẹ̀ ẹ tètè mẹ́ni tẹ́ ṣẹ̀ nísìnyí o torí ẹlẹ́dàá bàbá Joseph ọlọ́ba máa dájọ́ fún gbogbo yín àti Mohbad tó bá jẹ́ àbúrò yín náà pa bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn náà pa nípa ipa burúkú bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn báwo lẹ́yìn ṣe fẹ́ fi Yomi ṣé wọ́n pa àbúrò ẹ̀ ò rí justice àbúrò ẹ̀ ṣe o wá ganu sówó o rò pé kò tẹ́lẹ̀ bá fẹ́ jọ kí ló máa fowó yẹn ṣe kó o lè ṣe kọ́kọ́ fún ẹ Yomi ṣe bá o ti mọ́mọ́ ti tẹ̀ wá bí ìwọ́n mú tiẹ̀ òmù sápamọ́ síbi jẹ́ ká máa wò gbogbo yín pátápátá lọ́wọ́ máa ṣèdájọ́ fún àsìlàtì olórí burúkú ní fracas kíyẹn náà máa wá àkọ́kọ́ ṣe kó ní fracas lòun fi ń jẹun gbogbo àwọn ọkùnrin játijàti jẹ́rẹ́dẹ̀rẹ́dẹ́ àtàwọn obìnrin tó ń sọpọ́tì gbogbo yín ṣé àwọn ọkùnrin èèyàn kọ́ ló bí wọn wọ́n jábọ́ látòkè ṣé àìmọye ọkùnrin tó máa ń suffer abuse nínú marriage nítorí pé wọ́n máa ń dákẹ́ wọn kí lè sọ̀rọ̀ nítorí pé tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ society ọmọ pé ọkùnrin ni ẹ́ o lè fèsì o lè sọ́ọ̀tì láìfù ilé obìnrin fìyà jẹ. Mo ní àwọn ọkùnrin tẹ́kùn omi máa ń jábọ́ lójú wọn nínú abuse táwọn ń fèsì nínú ilé wọn so torí àjọ obìnrin yẹn wọ́n ti fún wa lọ́dà city ká máa ṣèkà fáwọn ọkùnrin tó lọ́hùn fún wa tá a bá pa gbogbo wọn ta ló máa fẹ́ ta ló àwọn ọmọ wa máa fẹ́ ẹ̀yin ìka òṣì nítorí ó fẹ́ dé wígẹ̀tì $8,000 tó ní dé mi ìmọ̀ láyé mi kí ló dé tẹ̀ ní tẹ̀ lọ́rùn kí ló dé tẹ̀ yàkà náà gbogbo yín pátápátá báyìí ikú oró ni gbogbo yín máa kú àti látọ̀ ló. Gbogbo yín pátápátá báyìí ẹ máa fomi jó fún gbogbo yín pátápátá báyìí látòkè délẹ̀ tẹ máa wá bí ọ̀rẹ́ tẹ máa gbomi jó lẹ́nu lójú bàbá yẹn kí ló dé ọgbẹ́ ọkàn wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin kọ́ dẹ̀ mú kí ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń fi ń gun kókú kí ló ṣe tí bàbá yẹn bá ṣe bó ṣe wà yẹn lè jí gbé Ọlọ́run ni ò ní fún yín ṣe nítorí pé ẹ̀fẹ́ kí Wùnmí lọ sẹ́wọ̀n ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ jẹ́ kí Wùnmí kó fèsì pọ́blẹ́mù ẹ̀ alọ́kùnrin alóbìnrin níran wa náà kí ló dé tẹ ìyàkà náà ẹ ní sober reflection ní nípa gbogbo ìwà burúkú tẹ ń wù yìí ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ jèrè ẹ ní jèrè ẹ má fẹ́ nù lọ jàre gbogbo ilé jàre ẹ ṣe jàre.
ẹ kú ètò gbogbo lé. Mọ̀ kù ní jù kò bànújẹ́ sínú ilé ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa. Abẹ́nilórí kì í fẹ́ jẹ́ kán gbé dàbí ẹ̀yìn orí òun. Bí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn bó ṣe wà nìyẹn. Tẹ́ bá ti rí gbogbo Boko Haram tó ń bẹ̀yàn lórí. Abẹ́nilórí kì í fẹ́ jẹ́ kán gbé dàgbà orí òun bó sì ṣe wulẹ̀ kán ṣe tó wọ́n ní ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ kan kò ní lọ láì jìyà wàláhì àwọn náà máa jẹ̀yà tiwọn lódidi ni odidi báyìí ni mo jẹ̀yà wọn gbogbo tán sì ń ṣe wọn àwàdà ni mo pè tí mo bá ti dákẹ́ fún wọn gbogbo wọn lọ́wọ́ tẹ̀ gbogbo wọn tó lọ́wọ́ nù kú bọ̀bọ̀ yìí because ògo ni ọlọ́mọ mọ̀ jàbọ̀ wá ṣèkà o wọ́n wá pẹ̀ni ẹlẹ́ni mọ́ pa lẹ́kúnjayé mọ́ àtúnjí ó nísìnmí ẹ́gọ́ náà ní nísìnmí ewé ojú omi è nísìnmí mọ́ ní nísìnmí orí igbá ìrídìíjókòó àwọn gan ò ní rídìíjókòó ní gbogbo ibikíbi tán bá wà gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó bá ti wà nínú ayé tó sọ yípo òun ò ní jẹ́ kọ́mọ ọlọ́mọ ó gbérí tán fi pa tògótògó látòrí àkọ́bí títí wọn náà bí jáde kan ìwọ̀n Ọlọ́run ó wò yí pé mi ò tí ì jẹpo mi ò tí ì jata láàárọ̀ mi ò tí ì fi iyọ̀ kanu ẹ̀mí mímọ́ bínú sí wọn ni lágbára Ọlọ́run ọ̀run máa bínú sí irú àwọn ẹ̀dá bẹ́ẹ̀ because ọ̀rọ̀ wọn ó sú èmi ẹni tó yẹ kán ti lọ yẹgi fún tipẹ́ àwọn èèyàn ló ń dúró dè wọ́n ẹni tó bá lè tó Elédùmarè tó bá ṣe yí pé mo ní àjẹni bí mo ṣe wà yìí irú wúmà tán pé ní Wùmí yẹn ojú rẹ̀ méjèèjì ojú ẹ̀ méjèèjì kí ẹ máa pa díẹ̀díẹ̀ kí n ti ẹ̀rọ ojú ẹ̀ yọ tèmi bá lè rájẹ̀ gbà ni lèmi ní ti tèmi o ojú rẹ̀ méjèèjì lèmi ò bá lọ yọ jẹ kí ẹ kọ́kọ́ fẹlẹ́ ìdán wò ná kán wò bí ṣe rí torí mi ò mọ̀ tílé ayé tó ní gbogbo wọn ní ara ọ̀run yóò ní wọn lára ni bí wọ́n ṣe wà yẹn lágbára Ọlọ́run wọ́n kán ẹni ẹlẹ́ni lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan ni o Ọlọ́run ni ó ká wọn lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan Ọlọ́run èèyàn làwọn tán kán bàbá Mohbad lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan Ọlọ́run ni ó ká wọn lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan wallahi ilé azim bó ṣe wulẹ̀ kán pẹ́ láyé tó ojú táwọn gan náà rí bí lágbára Ọlọ́run wallahi tàláì súnmọ́ bí láìlẹ̀ àsìláwà Ọlọ́run wọlá àwọn tó láyé ni ó jẹ́ kójú tiwọn náà rí bí because bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe nínú ayé bí ìgbà yìí pé àwọn làwọn jùbà àwọn làwọn tó bá àwọn làwọn ṣe báyìí mọ̀ yí pé ilé ayé òfúùtù fẹ́ tẹ́nì ilé ayé ilé asán kò sí ń ta mú wá kò sí ń ta mú lọ èmi ò mọ tí ọmọ ènìyàn tán wá wálé ayé koko mọ́ yàbẹ́ yẹn fún kò sí wàhálà ó lè pẹ́ lójú wa ni ìdájọ́ Ọlọ́run ó ṣẹ lórí tàwọn náà tó ṣe yí pé àwọn èèyàn wà mọ́ ní ha ẹni tó bá sì ṣe ha nínú gbogbo àwọn èèyàn nígbà tí láabi bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn ogun ha wọn ó ṣẹlẹ̀ lé tiwọn náà because ta ló lè gbà kí ọmọ ti tòun ó kú lásìkò tí ògo rẹ̀ tó dé ògo ìlú ni Mohbad ògo ni bọ̀bọ́ yẹn kọ́lọ́run Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ kí ọmọ rẹ̀ ò ní lárí àdúrà tèmi gbànú gbogbo ìgbà tí n bá ti rí ọmọ bọ̀bọ́ yìí mo jẹ́ ẹnìkan tó ṣe yí pé kó kàwé tí mo bá kàwé ni èmi náà bá mọ nǹkan tí ń ṣe nínú ikú Mohbad àmọ́ èmi tí mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ afọ́jú ni mí ẹnikẹ́ni tí ò bá ti kàwé afọ́jú tó fọ́jú inú gan ó bẹ́tà rẹ̀ àmẹ́ni tí ò gbá léèwé kọjá afọ́jú ayérayé ni ìmá ń dùn mí bẹ́ẹ̀ tí mo mọ̀ yí pé mi ò ní agbára kankan tí mo lè ṣe lórí ikú bọ̀bọ́ yìí ju kí n máa fún àwọn tó lọ́wọ́ nínú ikú rẹ̀ lọ ìṣẹ̀dá gbogbo tiwọn náà wọlẹ̀ lójijì ni lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo àwọn tó ṣe irú ìwà fún Mohbad ìṣẹ̀dá títí wọn náà ni ó wọlẹ̀ lójijì lágbára Ọlọ́run àtọmọdé wọn o àtàgbà wọn ìṣẹ̀dá tiwọn náà wọlẹ̀ lójijì ni torí gbogbo ìgbà tí n bá wà ní vibe tí n bá rí tẹ́ ń sọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀bọ̀ yìí mo máa ń sunkún ni kọ́lọ́run Elédùmarè tó lọ́jọ́ ni kó bá àwọn rẹ bàbá rẹ lẹ́kún omi jẹ́ tèmi náà kọ́lọ́run kó bá mi kú gbogbo ògónú ilé ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan kò ní wọlé lójú lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo ìdá tó náà wọlé ayé fún mi kí n fi omi sẹ́nu mi ò tí ì jata lónìí mi ì tí ì jẹpo ariwo ha ni ó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílé tiwọn náà ikú òjijì ni gbogbo wọn bọ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run torí kò sí ẹ̀dá tó hù yóò sọ yí pé kí ògo òun kó wọlẹ̀ lójijì bí ó ṣe pa ògo ìlú Nàìjíríà ọmọ tó yanjú nù ilé tiwọn náà lọ́lọ́run padà nù lágbára Ọlọ́run ògo Ọlọ́run ni ó jẹ́ kí ó sì ṣe tó ṣe yí pé ibi tí màá rotì làwọn náà ti kú òjijì torí kò wù bàbá Mohbad kí ọmọ rẹ̀ kó lọ lójijì ní agbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nínú ilé lágbára Ọlọ́run tẹ́ wà ní FIP ògo ọmọ yín ò ní wọlẹ̀ lójijì lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó wá pa Mohbad gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó lọ́wọ́ nínú ikú rẹ̀ tó ní ọwọ́ nínú ikú rẹ̀ Olúwa Ọlọ́run májẹ̀mú rí pé mi tí ì jẹ ata lónìí mi tí ì jẹ epo mi ò tí ì jẹ iyọ̀ Ọlọ́run májẹ̀mú tó ní òkè àti ilẹ̀ Olúwa jẹ́ kí gbogbo wọn jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa bọ́ bàtọ̀ fọ̀ sẹ́nu ọ̀nà wọn Ọlọ́run májẹ̀mú jẹ́ ká máa bọ́ bàtọ̀ fọ̀ sẹ́nu ọ̀nà wọn ògo ìlú ni mi ò bá mọ̀ tó bá ṣe yí pé bọ̀bọ̀ yìí náà ò tí ì kú báyìí bọ́yẹ̀mí náà bá wà nínú àwọn olóríire Nàìjíríà ní agbára Ọlọ́run májẹ̀mú Olúwa Ọlọ́run aláàánú orí mi yí pé mi tí ì jata mi ò tí ì jẹpo Olúwa jẹ́ káwọn náà máa sunkún ẹ̀mí mímọ́ jẹ́ ká máa sùn Olúwa bá ń bọ́ bàtọ̀ fọ̀ sẹ́nu ọ̀nà wọn yín tí ń dùn wọ́n nínú ọ̀run bá mi bàjẹ́ Olúwa bá mi bàjẹ́ ẹ̀mí mímọ́ máa bá mi bà gbogbo ìdùnnú tí wọn náà jẹ́ because bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ó jẹ́ ògòlù tí n bá ń gbọ́ orin rẹ̀ inú mi máa ń dùn àfi bí ọmọ mi ṣe sọ yí pé mọ́mí inú ṣe Mohbad